Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek Podcast, round number 2 here in sunny Oklahoma. Lots of fun. I really want to introduce you as Travis's dad, but I just absolutely refuse to do that because
come on.
Because I just can't bring myself to it. Bruce, you want to sort of just introduce yourself, who you are, and a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so my name's Bruce, and I'm with Parks Leasing, and we just do rent-to-own lease purchase on storage buildings and shipping containers in this region.
So Oklahoma primarily.
Little 4-state area here.
Okay, yeah. I forget that you're so close
We're
to
in the corner.
So many states here. And then we've also got Bear, and I love that. George, maybe introduce yourself, who you are, and what you do in regards to Parks.
My name is George, and I work for Parks Leasing, and everybody knows me as Bear. And I'm in the recovery section of trying to figure out how to get everyone to pay what they owe, and after that, we have to try to recover them if we can't get them to pay what they owe.
It's a whole job in and of itself trying to go down that. So you guys... and if you don't want me asking this, I can edit this out. I wasn't sure. Do you guys work with like Melody here, or to some extent?
Everyone works with Melody.
She's great, man.
Yeah.
She really is great.
Yeah, so Melody is would probably never lose that place as being the last ditch. It's got to extreme level, so we can't replace what she does. What we've done with Bear is the space in between that.
Okay, very good. So for those who don't know, Bruce is, and we kind of alluded to that earlier, Bruce is Travis's dad, also known as Bruce, but I just keep calling him Travis's dad. So that's the joke. But that's how I met you, and obviously a lot of folks know Travis through his work in the industry, his presence on Hauler Page, and then him and JD's commitment to put this thing together along with others every year, which is massive. This is my second year here. I can't wait to be back next year with my wife and spend a couple of days here. You guys really, really, really do a great job here on the event. So kudos to Travis and JD. So how did this come about, Bruce? You're like, hey, I need to be in the RTO industry, because I don't think most people just sign up for that immediately.
Right, yeah. It was a dream in the middle of the night. No, it was so 1993, my dad and I started building storage buildings.
Okay.
We built a couple, set them out by the road, and thought they would just start selling like crazy, and they didn't. So it took a couple of years probably, and my dad was able to turn that into a full-time job. So then he started doing that every day and building them. He painted them. He done all the work, had a helper, and would also deliver them. And Travis worked with him, so that's Travis's experience in the shed business. So he was delivering buildings, I think, before he was 16, so it's kind of crazy. So then as time went on, my dad got ready to retire, so he backed out of it, and he was just small, just a couple of lots. And he had gotten into the lease purchase, or back then it was rent-to-own here in Oklahoma, is how it was regulated. So then from that, he just decided to totally quit and let his stuff run out. I picked it up, and we quit manufacturing, and then for the past 10 or so years, we've been on the rent-to-own or lease purchase side. Okay. So we sell for a couple of companies. We do get shipping containers from a couple of companies locally. And then also we've got 2 or 3 other streams that come in. So we're a small company just in this region. So just a little 4-state kind of corner here. And I guess what we're talking about today is I've just gotten frustrated for the past while is just getting stuff back. And the drivers, man, they do a great job, but it's not really their job to line everything up. They would go out, something would be wrong, the people's not home, And so anyway, in November we hired Bear, and so he's been doing that job, chasing stuff down and actively seeking every single day of the week, looking, talking, and even working with current customers that hasn't reached a problem level. So we're just trying to get the space to shorten from there being a problem to when you actually either get it back or get paid. So we've been doing it, it's been successful. And so I just thought, man, we might could help some other people in this area if they need help. So we can go beat on the door. We're not into transportation, but if you need pictures or arrangements, whatever you need, it's just like, man, we just want to help because I know this has got to be a problem,
Yeah, I would imagine it's if it's the same problem for one rent-own company, it is for another. And I've been around enough to see some of those, experience some of those, both on the dealer side and on the customer side. I think about one of the first, rent-own. There's some guys that's got into rent-own who were hauling. Some of the stories that they told was, I became a middle piece from the company to the RTO company because I'm the one out there actually there at the door when the customers say, no, don't take my shed. I already arranged payment, or I can make payment. But then what is it from there, Bear? Like, what do you do? You say, well, hey, listen, we've got to get this figured out so that I'm not knocking on your door every day or every month.
Yeah.
What approaches can you take? What can you do?
What we do is it's just about customer service. It's not just about the repo. It's just not about recovering the building. It's not about the payment. We talk to almost every one of our customers. I go out and touch base with most of every customer that we have on payments to them being current. We are a very religious company. We're not out to just get their building. A lot of people think that we just are just out there to just get the building back. And there's other people that's their job, is just to go out and get the building that they owe money. We don't try to do that. We want to help the customer keep their building. So we do everything, which is my job, is to contact the customer, ask them what their issues are, try to help with trying to not just get the building back. We try to make arrangements for them to pay us what they owe us in a very friendly way. Our us getting the building back is the last resort.
You said customer service, and it's like one of those things that looking to grow your shed business this year? Say goodbye to the struggle of day-to-day management. Shed Suite has you covered. With Shed Suite, you'll get access to a full e-commerce suite for your shed business. That includes customizable dealer websites, real-time inventory management, streamlined quote and order flow, and robust analytics and reporting. What's more, Shed Suite was designed specifically for shed manufacturers and dealers by experienced shed builders just like you. With low-cost merchant accounts and integrated payments, Shed Suite makes selling sheds a total breeze. Ready to get started? Our team is excited to help you grow your shed business through 2023 and beyond. If you're looking to scale up and automate your shed business, book a demo now at shedsuite.com. 10 years I spent in customer service. And I just cannot drive home the idea that customer service is so underappreciated in any industry, but in ours and accessory buildings and carports, and we hear the stories all the time. It's the lifeblood of your business, in my opinion.
Right. It's just like with me. I live this. When Bruce brought this was Bruce's idea. No one else has a Bear. No one else has what I do. I not only schedule recoveries, I talk to the customers and try to work out arrangements for them payments. I visit customers that don't owe us anything just to speak to them and ask them how they're doing. We like I said, this is Bruce's idea. He came up with a person that is in between just trying to get recoveries and trying to get the money. It's new. It's like I said, I've talked to other companies that are here. No one even realizes that this can be done.
It's creativity, and I love that it's creative because anytime that you're starting a systems and process or a product that's not yet there, while it's not only uncertain and untested, it's also exciting because there's no one else doing it, and you kind of have that first mover's advantage to jump in and, you know, without challenges, what are we? You know, I don't think for me I told my son recently, I said, you know, same thing our pastor would say is, you don't always have to pray to be removed from the situation. Sometimes you can ask to just be delivered through it so you can overcome it. It's not always about just avoiding it. Sometimes it's about going through it so that you can learn, and maybe so that's what's kind of cool about being one of the first people to the space. You were talking about one thing I noticed of Bear is that you use the word recovery. And I like that because I think verbiage matters. I think the way that we discuss things matter. There's been a lot of conversation on Facebook pages about the word repo versus the word recovery, how much it matters, does it matter? But I always say volunteer pickup, involunteer pickup. I mean, it's ultimately you're the owner, but maybe in a culture that kind of sets like even the word repo is kind of a trigger for what we see with like the TV shows where they're repoing homes or repoing vehicles, and it kind of sets the expectation for a potentially violent encounter. Whereas if you know what I'm saying, if you can kind of come at it from a different, and not a, hey, we're here to repo your shed, get out of my way, but, you know, we're here to recovery, we're here to pick up this shed that you decided you no longer want to rent.
Absolutely. Yeah, and since there's a huge disconnect with the customer because you've never met this person. You didn't sell it to them, so it's coming from multiple streams. And so a lot of the introduction of yourself into them is kind of a new thing because you wasn't there, they don't know you. And so it's a little bit awkward for the customer because the dealer is actually selling you and may not actually tell you exactly just because they're just, getting the building sold. So to actually get down to where you're, meeting the customer and talking to them, because we at that point, we want our face to be the one. We don't want them calling the dealer.
Yeah.
We don't want them taking payments down there. We want to be the first call when there's a problem or a payment. Yeah, we want to do that. And yeah, customer service is exciting to me. I feel as a Christian, serving is a very high privilege to serve people. And so I'm in another business, that's what we do. It's a little more touchy-feely than this. You meet the people more, but it's really all the same. It's just, I really like to be treated really good when I go somewhere and I go to a restaurant. I want the waiter to act like he cares. And, I ask them sometimes, what do you recommend? And I like it when they go, oh, my, you got to try this. This is it. And so that's what we're trying to get back. I understand this isn't possibly scalable to nationwide or something. So it's since it's a smaller environment, I feel like more doable.
You mentioned something that comes up in the communication often whenever I go to events like this and others, and just things that I watch on social conversations that happen surrounding the shed industry, and that is the dealer side in terms of selling. We have a lot of different types of shed companies. We've got the big box guys that are probably well known inside the industry, if not to the customer. But we've got tons of mom and pops and smaller companies that are the backbone of not only the industry but this great country in general. I'm probably the most surprised and this is kind of where creativity came into the opportunity for me to do something or to connect with others who discuss the same ideas. And that is that a lot of times the dealer doesn't get the training necessary to understand what it is they're selling, whether it's selling a rent-own contract, maybe it's products, maybe it's who knows? I just think a lot of times there's no professional development in terms of sales. I think the NBSRA does a great job at trying to bring information to the table, and that's cool that organization began to exist, and ultimately they fall under an umbrella, and it all, I guess, probably goes back to the state statutes when it's all said and done, right? But my thought is you can't set and educate a customer on every single part of a shed sale. But where do you think we're failing, and where do you think we can do better? I mean, what would help you more, Bear, when you think about the customers who say, well, I didn't know it would cost that much. They didn't tell me it would cost this much. I didn't know my payment was due here or there. What can we do as shed manufacturers to do a better job? Is it creating more education around sales?
I had a conversation with my wife about this week. Everybody likes to blame. They didn't know how much the building cost. They didn't, they don't read the contract. The salesman didn't tell them. And they'd like to blame it on the salesman or the manufacturer. It's there. They're signing it. I know that people like to put the blame on something else. It's a contract that you're signing. You need to read. I mean, ours is in a big box, how much they're going to pay at the end of this building. And then a lot of people say that they don't know what that is. When I go out there, they're like, well, the building is $6,000 and I paid $6,000, so the building should be mine. And they're not reading that box that says they owe $13,000. That's not on anyone else to do. It's on the customer. We can say it, but at the end of the day, they're just like on a car or a house or anything. They're just signing, and they don't realize until they've paid for a year or 2 years that they still owe. But it's not on anybody. On a certain aspect of it. It's people don't know. I mean, they just don't know.
You think it's just a lack of them paying attention, or do you think, there's cases where the dealers just want to get the sale, get the commission, and maybe not go through in detail?
I do. I think there are some salesmen that just are out to make the commission. They're just out to do this. They don't.
Hello, shed sellers. Let's take a moment to discuss the shed customer and meeting their expectations. I remember growing up in the neighborhood where a certain percentage of the houses had well-manicured lawns and well-manicured homes. These were the type of individuals who felt it was important to purchase a well-constructed home or vehicle, or maybe equipment to help maintain the quality of the item. As shed manufacturers, we seek to provide a well-built quality shed. We want the customer to feel satisfied that their hard-earned money has been well spent on a product that will last. At LuxGuard, we believe adding high-quality rubber flooring to your line of sheds makes sense to the customer and adds value the customer can appreciate. With each year, sheds are becoming more complex. The customizations we are seeing are virtually endless. LuxGuard not only gives a complimentary aesthetic appearance for their shed, but also protects the floor from spills and keeps cleanup simple. Offer your customer the customer service they seek with LuxGuard. At LuxGuard, we are committed to delivering exceptional customer service and innovative products to help our customers achieve their goals. We strive to meet the evolving needs of the customers. To speak with one of our ready-to-serve customer product specialists, simply call 336-468-4311. To see our product and view an installation video, just visit our website at luxguard.com. LuxGuard, the floor that lasts a lifetime.
Specify, but it's right there. I mean, we can say that we didn't tell them or whatever, but it's hard to dictate. Is it the salesman's fault or the manufacturer or the customer? I mean, the customer's the one signing the stuff. They put the down payment. It's almost like buying a car or something like that. They're so excited, or they're just needing that building, and their mind's on what they're doing with that building. Their mind is not on the price. They get told how much the down payment is. They get told how much the building is, and they just go from there. They don't realize it until 6 months down the road, a year down the road, that the percentages of the rent to own part of it, and that's where we have to educate them later.
Do you think, Bruce? Do you think we can do a better job to educate them in the process, or do you think it's better to address it later? Like to Bear's credit, it's a good point that, hey, you're an adult, and I specifically remember selling a shed that I completely stereotyped and said, oh, maybe these people won't be able to afford it. Now, I didn't tell them that, of course, but I thought that in my mind, and I think a lot of us, if we're honest, have had that thought. And a lot of us, if we're honest, have been wrong, and we've also been right in some of those situations. But the goal of a salesperson is not to determine who can and can't purchase. We present the requirements. They meet the requirements. We educate them on the product and the process and how the sales part works. But it just seems to me so many times people go back to recover a building only because the customer says they didn't know. Where do we draw the line on? Because I know I spent a lot of time becoming a financial advisor for some of these, and you just can't do that every sale.
Yeah, I think it's two-sided. So if I, as a salesman, and I don't sell that, but if I did spend as much time with some of the features of the structure as I did with the product. So rent to own or lease purchase, it's a product. So I like one of your recent podcasts that I felt like explained that very well. And what is the value in it for me? And some people would say, well, there's never a reason to ever do that. Well, there's actually lots of good reasons to do that. And so there's situations that I would do that. But it needs to kind of be sold to that. But again, I think we're watching it the past few years, even in our realm that we live in. I feel like it's better, but it's like it should be ongoing, and so I kind of feel challenged to work on that right now. So
it seems like sometimes I cringe, like whenever I hear I think that the schools probably could do a better job, just in general, of teaching how money matters. That's a shout out to Chad Wilson and his podcast there. But I think it really does. I really think it does matter to get good education. I didn't get good education on how money works necessarily a lot of times. So I hear a lot of people come in, and rent to own might look like traditional finance, so they'll call it finance, and the dealer will call it finance, and you almost cringe, whenever you hear the words finance, because it's like, well, that's actually different, and there's the FICO score, this is, something totally different, even though it's set up very similar. So my thought is, you're seeing different things hit the industry. I mean, you're seeing more actual finance start to creep in a little bit, right? And we hear rumblings all the time of outside industry money attempting to infiltrate that space. I do think that at some point, maybe payments on sheds will be more, I don't want to use the word affordable. I think they're affordable now, but maybe will they decrease? I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen, because the service you're providing is really cool, and it's definitely you're educating that customer. I don't want to say after, but you're
a little too late almost. Yeah.
Well, you're doing a great job, because you're trying to make sure that they understand, and they don't just call Bear up and give him a hard time when he comes out to get the building. I mean,
Yeah, I think that and again, I just speak about what I know the most about, which is my stuff, or what we work with. And I would say that most of the issues when I hear of people talking and they act like they don't understand it, I think there's a real good chance that sometimes they may.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think, most of the problems really, I think, stem from selling. So it really kind of, so, the thing where our hands are tied, so since we're not manufacturing, we're getting from different places, we're getting, so like a shipping container company, like totally different. So one of the people that we do work with, they do a very good job of that. And they like, they almost pre-qualify people, so not like by signing or checking, credit scores or anything. But if they feel uncomfortable with somebody, they'll do something, push them around or something. But I do believe that there's
I'm just making sure that's not my truck.
Oh yeah, maybe maybe it is. But as for our stuff, I feel like the more important it is, and just figuring out what needs to happen. And so working upstream with them. But, if you're only one of multiple companies working with them, it's a little bit awkward, because it's kind of like you're invading some kind of space and you don't want to, lose an opportunity.
But either way, you're addressing the concern.
Right.
Because you guys are taking an aggressive approach at customer service. You're making sure to take care of the customer so that they don't go down that path. I mean, I think that's what you're trying to avoid. Bear, tell me if I'm wrong, but when you go out and you meet that customer, like you said, existing customers who still don't, right now they have no late fees or anything like that. I mean, you're just trying to establish rapport, build relationship, and avoid any potential future problems.
Absolutely. I live this. Since I started with Bruce, I'm taking customers' phone calls today on my here, and they're asking to pay through me, and I'm telling them I'm not at the office. I answer 24/7. I answer if a salesman wants to knock off a couple $100 off because that's what the customer needs at 7, 8, and 9 o'clock at night. They call me and ask if this will work, and we get it done. So I live this not only 8 to 5. I live this 7 days a week. I answer for salesmen. I do whatever it takes to make this better. So it's not just doing one little step here. I make sure that everything is taken care of, from the salesman to the customer to the drivers. Whatever they need me to do, I do. If I need to meet them, a driver out to a delivery or pickup, I do it. If I need to drive, 4 hours to meet someone to sell a building, I do. Whatever it takes to make this profitable and better for the customers, for us.
Yeah. No, that's great. So which side is most demanding for you, Bruce? Is it the leasing side or the recovery side, you think?
Well, it's kind of funny because I think about it, and so we're scrambling. We're trying to get these contracts, they're scramble, get the contracts. Everybody's rushing around, all these great vehicles. They've got these trucks and mules and all this stuff's in motion and getting all this stuff picked up and delivered and set down. And then we get that, and then we try to figure out how the rest of it works. And so I actually think that this time, from the time that, a payment stops to figuring out how to deal with it, I think that's the most challenging time, because we have people that don't intend to pay for anything when they get it. You just have that. But then you do have the person that the story that they tell you that you can't hardly believe is really true. They did have the disease. Their grandpa was in the hospital. And so when we hear that, that's the kind of stuff we want to work with. We want to try that. But we are in business to be profitable, so there has to be this determination here. We're going to compress this time and try not to talk about the embarrassing thing that may have been out there for a year or months, and get that compressed down to where, we're not funding everyone's misfortune, self-induced or not. So I think the recovery part of it is actually many times more effort to manage.
I've heard a lot of rent-own guys I've been around tell me stories sort of off the fly just about. Hello, shed builders. Are you looking for a strong, easy-to-install shelf bracket with a clean, modern look? If you said yes, then say hello to Rapid Shelves. Rapid Shelves brackets only require a few screws for a fast and easy installation process. Weight limits for Rapid Shelves are an incredible 250 pounds. Plus, Rapid Shelves comes with a lifetime warranty. And we can usually have orders delivered to our customers in 3 to 5 days. If you are tired of sending your customers somewhere else to help declutter their shed, then call my friends at Rapid Shelves at 717-336-4984 or visit online at rapidshelves.com. Finding out the serious nature of a situation that a customer was going through, and they had a few payments left or something like that on the building, and they realized through the conversation that, all this is real and they're real life, they're dealing with these things. And that was a moment, like you said, we need to be profitable, but it was definitely a moment to show grace.
Yes.
To show who you are as an industry or as a person, as a company. And they would say, hey, listen, consider this matter paid in full. I've heard those stories, and it always amazes me because you got to be careful.
I agree. I have situations where a lady says that she's waiting on her husband's disability check that's coming in 2 weeks, and she's come in and paid her building off $3,000 in full. I've had other situations recently where someone tells me for 2 months they're going to pay me every week, and they never do. And then I have to, we have to act. But we give leniency. Our company, and Bruce has told me from the day he hired me, just be nice. Just try to understand I had a lady tell me yesterday that she owes us 2 months and her transmission went out of the car. Her husband tried $100 here, $100 there to fix it. They had to buy another car. She's going to come pay me in 2 weeks, 2 months payment. I got a rule that if they over 2 times, the third time is different. The first 2 times I will take them at their word and face value that they're going to do us right. We can't continue to let it happen, but we also don't just judge someone. We believe them when they tell us something that's honest and true. Like I said, most of our customers are 99% decent people.
Yeah.
We have the 1%, like they're going to pay the down payment of $200 and they keep it for 6 months, yes. But we also have 10 times that doing us and paying us every month that's right, too.
Yeah, I'm assuming you guys have seen those situations where customer does literally put a down payment down and then they just avoid you, or purposeful intent to try and hide the building, sell the building, just straight manipulation, nothing more than just straight manipulation. But I bet you see a lot of people who are struggling. I've never not paid my bills. I know that sounds like that's not a statement of arrogance. I'm saying, I didn't know that you could not pay your bill. My parents didn't teach me that. We might have struggled financially, but they said, hey, you put priorities first, and what you commit to is who you are and what you say you'll do. So I had no idea there was this whole section of the world that did not pay their bills on time. We've just, me and my wife have always done whatever's necessary to struggle to make it happen. If
well,
that's
there
what
are.
Had to be. Yeah.
There are. I deal with them every day.
Yeah.
So
it's wild to think that it's that rampant. And do you think that primarily comes from just society, just in the place that it is, or do you think there's direct manipulation in most cases?
It's both. There's people that know that they're going to, like Bruce said, they know they're going to put the $200 down, and they know that they can't afford it. But there's also people that they put the down payment down and pay a couple of payments, and then their grandparent has a heart attack, and they have to go, take care of them or something. It's hard to see what the truth is, because everybody tells us that there's an emergency, or there's something that's going on, but it's not true.
One of the rent-own guys I know said, they kind of allow for a family or a life situation is what they called it. That a life situation is probably going to happen once every 3 years. And I don't know how they came to this data. It could be job loss. It could be a employment change. It could be a death in the family and sickness. But something's going to probably happen. And they allow for 2 life experiences over the course of a 60-month contract. But they just assume that there's going to be one in a 36-month contract. And one of the minimal efforts they do is automatically they move that payment to the end of the contract. So they offer a grace month and then move that period, to the end and say it's still being paid for. It's still still holding you accountable, but we're offering grace in this month.
I like that. We just initiated doing that as we speak. So yeah.
I'll be honest with you, my Harley Davidson payment does that.
Yeah.
I've had to do that before in my life. I put my Harley Davidson payment on the end of the.
Yeah.
With us,
What kind of Harley you got? Wait a minute.
I got a 2020 Road Glide.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's all
but
right.
with us, when we speak to the customers, we do the same thing that you're talking about doing.
Yeah.
We ask the customer, what you owe $1,500. What are you able to make for us today?
Yeah.
What are you, and we don't tell them what we need. We ask them, what can you do something? If you can't do nothing, we have to come pick it up.
Right.
But if you can provide $150 on your $1,500 payment when your payment's $300, we work with you.
Mm-hmm.
We say, okay, if you're going to give us this, when can you, we're here not to get your building. We're here to help you get back on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
Our company especially, I don't know about any others, like he said, we're only talking about us. We do every single thing that we can to get what we can in, because we're a business, but we also are not malicious. We are not, like I said, we're a very religious-based company that doesn't pride ourselves on trying to just do anything dirty. We don't try to do anything dirty to anybody. We have lost money, lots of money, making sure the customer does not get done wrong. We have lost money just to help them.
There's a dynamic out there, maybe among, it's fair to say, make sure I don't get in too much trouble here, maybe among all the industry, whether it be shed hauling or just the way a manufacturer looks at things. I've seen literally both extents. I was talking to a company once that said, I was working in rent-to-own. I no longer, rep for any RTO, but at the time I did. I definitely liked engaging questions, even if I can't. If I can't sell you on the idea today, I can learn something from you today, or learn what's happening in the industry by asking you questions. And I asked one question, and it kind of prompted them to start asking me some different questions, and the conversation turns into, what do you guys do if a customer doesn't pay for their shed? And we go down this rabbit hole of the process, and ultimately the question was, well, what about whenever it gets to the point of legal action? Because we don't want to be out there as a Christian organization with the police saying that we're going to come get your shed, and we would even be willing to let that customer keep that shed. I talked with Melody about this last year. I remember her response specifically, but as you can imagine, I love her. She's great. But But I remember, like, hey, what happens with that customer? Their comment was, well, we made plenty of money on the other sheds that we felt like we could give that one away and it would be okay.
Oh, I don't feel that way.
Yeah, she didn't either.
I'll let you know right now. I do everything in my power to be nice until it's the point where they're not paying for that building. If they're attempting, then I am willing to be. If they are not attempting anymore, and if we, like I told you, if I
legal recourse is the only
then
option
if we have to
that
come
you
get it, we're going to come get it.
Yeah,
I'm going to get it. Either I'm going to get the money for the building, or I'm going to get the building back.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what I do is I work for Bruce.
Yeah.
And that is Bruce's money.
Yep.
And my promise to him was the day I started was I'm going to get you your money one way or the other.
Yeah.
The building or the money. And we're nice about it. We're not being malicious about it at all. But at the end of the day,
there's accountability.
Yes.
See, I understood the person's point of view, but I said, well, there's a different point of view in Christianity that we take as parents, that we hold our children accountable, right? So to me, I sort of took it as, there's nothing wrong with holding someone accountable, even though you don't want to be like identified with the police and seeming as though you're taking an aggressive position. I mean, there are guys that literally won't do rent to own at all in the industry because of the potential of repos. Listen at me. I'm using bad language, ain't I? Recoveries, involuntary pickups or voluntary pickups. So they just don't want to touch it at all because of the negative,
Yeah, I get that. So that has been a challenge for me. And so fortunately, we don't have a lot of those situations through the years. It's actually had to get down to that point.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about all this stuff with, Bear, so we, he's only been there since November. So once we get worked through here another few months, the story's going to be a little bit different. And Bear, how many Harleys do you have?
2.
Oh, 2.
2.
Yeah, so.
Not just one, but 2. Yeah. What's the other Harley?
It was my one before I bought the new one. It was a 2005 Ultra Classic.
That's awesome.
And it's the one that I have so that if I can't afford the 2020, that I have that one.
But you're taking the approach as a customer to consider what it's going to cost you, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And you're looking,
absolutely.
Reasonable expectations would be you have to pay for it.
I am not only an employee of Parks, I am currently owning 2 of his buildings.
Oh, nice.
I literally paid off a building in finance, and I saw the little block that says what I owe at the end of it, and I actually pay double payments. If my payment's $60, I pay $60 twice, knowing that the other extra payment goes to my principal.
Oh, bad word.
No, that's nice. Yeah. Principal. These are all conversations we get ourselves into. I apologize, guys, for the background noise, but this is just real life, and we're at a Shed Hauler event, and these guys are no joke. They hop in, they start taking tables down.
Yeah.
I don't know if you realize this, but they've almost got every table in here down already, and it's been like maybe 2 minutes since they made that announcement. I love that about these events. I love that about the Shed Haulers. Everybody jumps in and works. No one stands around. Real salt of the earth kind of guys.
There's 100 guys in here taking down stuff right now. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, this event, I don't know. How many people were here today, Bruce? 300?
I would suspect maybe more.
Yeah.
I would say 300.
Yeah, 300 to 400 people. What an amazing event that they've put on. Well, I think your company is cool. I think the fact that you focus on the customer relationship side, even before the potential for something to go wrong, you're heading off issues by building relationships with customers, and you're taking the right approach.
That's all his idea.
You're taking the right approach at like how to deal with a customer instead of letting it turn into this big bonfire. It's absolutely unnecessary.
Yeah, I was just wondering, Bear, if you don't make payments on that building, who are we going to get to recover it?
That's why I bought it.
Leave the Harley in.
That's why I bought it. I'm like, I'm not repossessing it for myself.
You could trade him out a Harley or something, maybe.
I've offered to let him ride the 05 multiple times, and he does not want to do
Bear, if it comes down to it, what goes first, the Harley or the building?
I will have to give my building back. But the building is the Harley sitting in the building, so I don't know.
So it's kind of a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I had to get the building so that the Harley is out of the weather.
I love it. I think meeting the customer exactly where they are, I think it's great. And whether you're doing that in the direct 4-state area or you take that out and move farther, are you actively either seeking or willing to seek companies who would be wanting to use your services?
We did that today.
So that was kind of my idea. So it's really to take care of ourselves, but as we've discovered how it's been working, it's like, man, this would be so easy to help other companies. And so it's just like, I know there's a lot of buildings in this area, and it's like, well, how much do you charge? What, all that? And it's kind of like, hey, if you got a problem with the first level, not melody level, but you need eyes on the ground, you need somebody's hand shook, give us a call and we'll take care of it for you. And we'll figure out if it works out for you, and later we'll turn it into something that we can figure out how to build for. So it's just kind of testing and helping the people out. So if, so it's kind of like the more you had in this area, the easier it would be. So, what I want to be is very responsive.
Yeah.
Like somebody calls with something they need, I don't want to be talking about that in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I want that to be done, and that's what I want to be. I want to be, boots on the ground, get her done, and try to get the process for everyone just to help that.
I love your heart. I love that you put your Christian values first in all that you do. I think you're making the industry stronger, better. The relationship with the customer is absolutely amazing. Barry, you just seem to be the right guy for it. You're perfectly intimidating and terribly kind at the same time, and I appreciate that. I bet a lot of customers do too.
I do try. It is very difficult to try to do both.
I guarantee it.
It is very, very hard.
I love you guys' heart. It's if a company's wanting to get in touch with you, if a company's wanting to use your services, who do they contact? How would they find out more about you?
Yeah, just have them call the office.
That's what we're here for.
Yep.
Bruce wanted to do this. Bruce is one of the most amazing men I've ever met. He needs to make money, but he is willing to help someone, a company, us, a customer, to try to do something better. I mean, he offered his services, me, to any of the companies out there to help them out. There's companies that don't actually, in our area, that have buildings in our area, that they're in another state, but they have buildings here that they need, eyes on the ground, like you said, and he's willing to help them out.
Absolutely. You were given a number?
Yeah, that's 918-789-2694.
All right, and
absolutely,
they can find you. Can they find you? You have a website they can find you at?
We really haven't pushed that.
Yeah.
So, but
I know some web designers. Just saying.
You know what? I need to listen to those podcasts and figure out who to call. Right.
So, well, hey,
we're a small company, so we deal with calling on the phone.
Yeah. So. Hey, that's the best customer service you're going to get is the direct communication. So I appreciate that about you. I think you guys have awesome hearts. Appreciate you guys listening to the podcast, being part of it. Ask that you continue to ask God to bless this industry and all of hopefully my efforts to bring forth shed sellers, shed haulers, shed manufacturers, and those who service the industry through both products and services. We want to do right by your company, by your business, and either make people aware of it or remind them that you're there, one or the other. So, Bruce, would I be asking, I didn't prepare this ahead of time, but would I be asking too much to ask you to just sort of pray over the industry as we wrap up here today? And maybe we can go win some of these raffle tickets or something. I don't know. We get some raffle items maybe.
Sure. Bear, would you like to join hands with us as we... Oh, never mind. Thank you, Jesus, for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to work with people. Thank you for the friends that we've developed relationships with here today. And just keep everyone safe as they travel home and help us. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for being on today.